Okay, so you've heard me talk about this before. What is more important, character or plot? The answer is yes. Hi, I'm Roshni Lamino. I'm an actress, voiceover artist, fantasy novelist. I'm also a former game writer, former songwriter. I've worn a lot of creative hats over the years. And people ask me about this stuff all the time when I'm at events. I thought I'd just kind of organize all my thoughts and put them here on this channel. So hopefully, if you are also pursuing a life in the creative arts, you'll find these useful. And even if you aren't, now you can know what's going on in our brains, I guess. So, yeah, let's get into it. What is more important, character or plot? So this is kind of the big debate that my editor and I have because he's a huge plot person, which is why I have him edit my books. Because I like to fall heavy on the side of character. To me, character is more important. And plot is exciting and fun, but to me, it's characters that keep you drawn in. They draw you in the first place and they keep you there. And you're like, I really like this character. I can relate. That's why I'm going to keep watching this show. That's why I'm going to keep reading this book, whatever. Even if you're like, I'm never going to solve a murder. I'm never going to climb Mount Everest. I'm never going to ride on a dragon's back. It doesn't matter if there's something in that character that you can relate to, and that's why you keep reading, you know? You keep reading because you're like, "Oh, he's so handsome and brooding, and I wanna know if he'll get together with the shy main character or something," you know? And whatever else happens to them, it's just icing on the cake. My big thing with characters is that they should always be logical, and it follows then that if they are acting logically, then whatever you do in the plot will make sense. So, for example, this is a bit ludicrous, but like let's say you had a, a romantic comedy and you have a woman who's really um I don't know, let's say she's really kind of into herself, okay? And she's like, "Oh, of course I'm God's gift to the world, you know, I'm amazing." And anything that happens, she'll always react in that framework. So maybe the lesson, her arc is she's got to kind of not be so full of herself. I don't know. You could have something as ludicrous as an alien invasion, and she'd be like, as long as she behaves normally, of course you came and invaded my town. I'm amazing. Of course you had to come see me. You know, and then, like, let's say the alien abducts her and doesn't, you know, because he needs an Earth specimen or something, and doesn't realize how insufferable she is. And I don't know, they fall in love. Okay, so we just now have an alien rom com, and like, you know, here's your little arc of her like learning to be kinder and less insufferable, and he has to, I don't know, learn how to handle Earth people. I don't know, whatever. But you could have something as ludicrous as that, as long as the characters are logically reacting to to each other and to the circumstances. Then I think it would work. And so now you have a rom-com alien plot. Go ahead. Go to it. Um because the characters are your gateway into your story. And so that's why I think they need to be fun and compelling and interesting and keep you engaged over any plot. Plot is just to me it's more like escapist fare. Like I said, you know, I'm never going to climb Everest. I really hope I never have to solve a murder mystery and like see a dead body, please. You know, I'm never going to fly a dragon, but I can relate to the sentiments that the characters are having when they are doing those events. Um the other thing is I grew up on classic movies, and one thing I really love about classic films is they build story through dialogue a lot because they didn't have crazy special effects and they didn't have a lot of the visual things that we have now. So it's very simple storytelling, you know, um, just like one shot, wide shot here, da, 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 you know, like it's just really simple storytelling. I remember my favorite actress is Audrey Hepburn. And I made a point of it when I was younger to watch all of her films, except for War and Peace. I did not watch War and Peace. I'm still psyching myself up to watch that one. And I was watching Robin and Marian, which is it's really lovely if you've never seen it. Sean Connery is Robin Hood. She's Maid Marian. And it's kind of set in a time where we assume that the main points of Robin Hood have happened. So like, yeah, he's, had his little battles with the sheriff and King John, Prince John, and all that stuff. But basically, we assume the main Robin Hood stories happen, and then Robin went off to the Crusades with Richard, and he came back years and years later, and everything's changed. So Maid Marian's now in a convent. The Merry Men are all over the place. The sheriff and John are still like doing their thing, and Robin kind of gathers the Merry Men for one last battle against um, the sheriff and John. And there's a part in there that um, Marian's in the woods with the Merry Men, and I believe it's the character of Much, and they're talking, and she's just kind of like lamenting how many years have been wasted and stuff like that with Robin leaving. And Much makes a comment, if I had a woman like you waiting for me at home, I never would have left England. And I was like, "What?" And I remember rewinding, to that point again, being like, "Did I hear what I think I heard?" And it was a lovely character moment, and it puts so many things in context, and it was really one of those blink and you'll miss it kind of moments. And I remember going back to make sure I'd heard the line, because I'm like, "Wow, this puts a lot of things in context as far as how he relates to Robin and why is he here and, all this stuff." And it's those kind of character things that draw you in, I mean, even in, like, real life, the plot would be like, I go to work and, they called this meeting and they did this thing, but it's your coworkers, it's the characters around you, their personalities that draw you in. That's why you keep talking to Sally, that's why you keep talking to Joe, but you don't talk to Bob because you can't stand him. You know what I mean? And things like that. It's those personalities and those characters that draw you in. The plot is just the day to day. And so again, I really just fall on the character's king kind of thing. But let me know what you think. I'd love to keep the discussion going. Put your comments down below. I do have a Discord if you want to keep the discussion going even longer. If you want to read any of my fantasy books, if you're into fantasy, the links will be in the show notes down below. And watch Audrey Hepburn? I don't know. If you found any of this useful, you know where all the buttons are, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Get out there and create your art. The world needs art more than ever now. So I hope you found this helpful, and I will talk to you later.